giving you a voice.
Making it loud our own way.
Welcome to the fun.
We need your help to keep fun loud, live, and independent. For just $1, you can be our boss at patreon.com/funfrc. Pledge your support in September and you'll be eligible to win a Cooler Master MS-120 keyboard and mouse set. So, Nick, we wanted to bring you on today. You kind of alluded to it a little bit before, but I want to talk about an awesome off-season robotics competition. The 33 is a part of, along with some other teams, which I'm sure you'll mention in a moment. In a competition that confused me a bit because it's in the Michigan area, but it's called the Oakland County Competitive Robotics Competition Association. So I kept thinking it was in Oakland, California for the longest time because it's like OC, and then has CA at some point like that. Is it pronounced OCCRA, by the way?
Yeah, OCCRA for sure.
All right. I wasn't sure if I'm just like I am really hungry or the way that goes like that. So OCCRA is something that personally I've heard of, but I'm going to be honest with you, I really never paid too much attention to it. I actually thought it was just like a completely separate robotics competition, like FIRST, but not quite. I didn't know it had any association with the FRC team. So
sure.
Kickoff's coming next week, which is why I wanted to bring you on and talk about it a little bit and bring some awareness to some other events going on. So let us know what's going on with OCCRA and what it's all about.
Yeah, so OCCRA has been around for a long time, actually. We're going to be going into the 19th season, I believe. 19th or 20th. No, I don't remember. It's 19 or 20. So it's been around a long time. It was started way back in the day. It's always been just Oakland County, Michigan. So Oakland County, Michigan. A lot of FRC teams are in that area. Like you said, 33 is in it. 27 Rush is in. They don't compete in OCCRA, but they're in that same area. Like 245 Atom Bots, 3538, we just talked about it, Mark. So it's the whole one of those big condensed areas in Michigan. So they've been having this off-season competition for a while. It's similar to FRC in a lot of ways. It's same size robots for the most part. It's 2v2 instead of 3v3. And the field's a little bit smaller. It's 24 by 30. So it's not quite the full-size FRC field. That's really nice though, because it makes it even easier to kind of host at just a high school venue, which is what all of our events are held at. So it makes it a lot easier to kind of run these events and plan them and things. But it was started way back when. I know Joe Johnson actually went back when he was with 47 Delphi. He was part of helping kind of start OCCRA with Jim Zondag, obviously from 33, and some others part of the Oakland School. It's run through the Oakland School, Education Foundation, which is kind of just like a group for all the Oakland schools that supports kind of extracurricular activities like this. So basically we have a kickoff every year, just like FRC. The students get around like 5 or 6 weeks to build the robots. There's no bag, so that's a benefit, obviously. But like I said kind of earlier, so it's kind of like a league play setup. So what we do is we have 4 one-day events. 2 are on Thursday nights, 2 are on Saturdays, where teams generally play around 4 to 6 qualification matches each day, and it's just cumulative. So all 4 of those events, you're just playing more qualification matches, and all of those matches are kind of counting. What we do for ranking is then we have a 5th competition on the last Saturday, and basically we take like the top 12 of your match scores and we add them together, and then you get ranked by your total amount of match points out of your top 12 scores. So, over the whole league, you play around like 18-ish matches. So you've got some where if you have like a dead match or whatever, then you can just throw that one out. So it's really great for that. And then we do alliance selection. Like I said, there are only 2v2 alliances. So, instead of just letting the number 1 team pick the number 2 team, we actually have we call it the alliance selection dice. It's an 8-sided dice. So what we do is we roll the dice. We roll the dice, and that decides how many teams you're not allowed to pick down the line.
That. I love that.
So,
awesome.
a lot of times people in the past, like, they've, in other competitions, maybe they've said you can't pick any higher than, the 4th seed or 5th seed or whatever it is. The problem with that, though, is then you're kind of encouraging teams to tank and try to lose a match to fall to that, spot. Yeah. So this way it's completely random, so teams don't know. So you always get high quality play from everybody. And then that way it usually makes it so at least the finals are super competitive. But we generally try to keep the game a little bit simpler than an FRC game. You can kind of see. So last year's game, for example, we had just like the big trash cans on the rolling dollies, and then they were like these large like tennis balls, basically like 8-inch like tennis balls. And you basically had to pick those up. Every ball you put into a your color can was 1 point, and then you could bring them to those dump stations on the end of the field. And when the balls got dumped out into the corral, then they were worth 2 points each instead. And that was basically the game. There were like some bonus balls at the end that were worth double, but they honestly hardly factored into the game. So for the most part, that's it, right? So it's very approachable. It's easier for teams to build the robots so they can actually compete and do more in a match.
Oh, what
was that?
I like this one in the corner over here that's got the blue bin.
Oh yeah, so that was, I believe that's if I remember correctly, I think that's 2834. So Bionic Blackhawks. So a lot of FRC teams. Oakland County is already, I think, statistically the most dense FRC county in the country. So in the high majority of FRC teams in the county compete in this competition every fall. The robots are all student built, so there really isn't any mentor involvement in the design, programming, build of the robots. So it's really a chance for students to really learn some of those skills without it affecting your FRC season, which is I think one reason a lot of teams that compete in it like it a lot. And like for us, I know like for our team personally, for 33, it's a great opportunity for us to have some of our kids kind of step into a leadership role that, some of our seniors held that just left. So it's a chance for them to kind of step up and start, learning how to operate in that kind of environment. So it's a really good competition. We've talked about maybe trying to help other areas potentially kind of set up their own, league or own competition that, could use the same game and kind of have it in their area. Yeah. So we figured this would be a good opportunity to try to show some people what it's all about. I know a lot of people have probably heard about it and don't know what it is.
I really like it because we've, in our area, the team that Justin and I were on, we treat sometimes off-season events where you can build a new robot for the same game, but this is kind of nice because it gives students access, to use those critical thinking skills of robots and designs and mechanisms they may have never seen before. So.
Yeah, I mean, it essentially gives, for us, like I said, the experienced kids that we've had on the team already, it gives them a chance to kind of step into a leadership role. And for new kids, new freshmen, it gives them a chance to jump into something right away and kind of learn, what a season's like, what it takes to get a robot put together. But like I said, with the game being simpler, it's not so challenging to get a robot built and get something working. To pick up a ball and put it in a trash can like it was for last year, for example, it's not too terribly hard. Kids can figure that out after a few weeks, how to put a robot together to do that for the most part. Sure.
Somebody so that way, is that Zondag reffing, by the way?
Yeah, so Zondag is always the head ref. Zondag's the chairman. Zondag is also the chairman of the game design committee, so he heads that up.
So
yeah, I don't know how he does it. So they added me to the game design committee this year, and I've just been stressing trying to get stuff done. He takes care of all of he designs the entire CAD for the field, and then he actually is the one that builds the entire field. So somehow he has time for that, even though he's doing a million other things. So he's a crazy guy, but so he helps run it.
Is this something that 33 started, or how did this get started? I'm sorry if you covered it. I didn't hear that part.
So like I said, it was started 19 years ago. Jim was one of the people that was part of starting it. I believe people from 47 back in the day were, like I said, I know Jim Johnson was part of it. I'm sure there were others. And then probably some other people that were part of the Oakland schools. I wasn't around then, so I don't know all the people that were there to start it. But yeah, it was definitely a few people coming together to kind of say we should do this. It'd be good for all the teams. It'd be good. Yeah. And at the time, it was a great way to get schools who weren't yet doing first into doing some kind of, robotics competition. And over the years, some teams that did OCCRA that did not do FRC have eventually been able to move on to start FRC teams.
Yeah, because it's less involvement. It's the 4 one-day events,
right. So for us, it's kind of shifted, like I said. So it used to be for helping teams, get to FRC in a lot of ways. Nowadays, because almost all the teams are already doing FRC and our county is so dense, now it's almost more, most teams are using it just as a great training platform for their students in the fall. That's so cool.
It looks like Jim is just watching 33. I don't know how much he's.
Here's what I love about this, by the way. You said this started 19, 20 years ago. It literally looks like first from 19, 20 years ago. Now, let's break this down a little bit. So not only is it 2v2, there's no bumpers. There's no Lexan protection glass. Look, there's literally people dumping the garbage cans with no protetion at all.
I love it.
Seriously, this is old school. I feel old by saying this because I'm going into my 19th season now. And this literally looks like a game that could have happened back in 2000 or even 1996 or something like that.
Yeah, and that just goes back to, we just want to keep it bare bones as for what you need to actually run an event, right? So do you need polycarb on the sides?
No.
Is the event, I'm sorry?
Is the event safe? I mean, people could die like this.
Obviously, yeah. No, we have one of our human player. I think you can see him on the right now. But like, there was one time like last year, he just like did like a complete like backflip 180, and he had the dump station like on top of him, and like it's fine. Like nothing, things aren't gonna get crazy. Yeah, exactly.
Check this out.
We use common sense.
I love how the match ends and the refs just hop on the field immediately, like right over the guardrails and barriers.
Yeah, no,
like, just don't care. Bam, yellow card.
There's no entry gates, so for teams to take their robots off the field,
How do
they
people
go
not kill
over
themselves?
the rim. Wow. You know, I know it's amazing we haven't been sued, but but yeah, you know, it works really well, and it's a great competition for
cool.
students to kind of get their feet wet, and
it's
been going well. So
seriously,
this is
I'm digging it. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're streaming any events this year. I don't think events in the past generally have been streamed. But,
God, let me know. Seriously, like, I mean, this is just off the cuff, non-scripted. But if you guys are interested in streaming, I'd love to put some of these on.
Yeah, you know, maybe we can talk about it. I can say I can't say anything about the game, obviously, but I can say I think it's going to be a really great game.
I missed that part in the beginning too, Nick. You released it. How long do they get to make it, and then what's the time?
It's roughly this. It's I think technically it's like 5 weeks, but I think it might be 6. I don't remember these. I'd have to look at the calendar. There's no bag though, right? So you can just keep working on it. It's just like Vex in that way.
What a concept that is.
And when is it released?
We'll have our kickoff on Monday. So Monday at 4:30, we do our kickoff live at the Oakland Schools.
So this will finish up before the end of the year, obviously.
Oh yeah, so our 5 competitions are in October and November. Right. It's like mid-November it finishes up. So
that's sweet.
So yeah, and like we use the Vex control system, so every team just has a Cortex with the and you got to use the Vex joystick. So like there's no FMS. Like we just say 3, 2, 1. We just say 3, 2, 1, go, and like they drive.
It's so 2002 and before, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean I love it because like I'm an FTA at the events, and like I don't have to do anything. Like I'm just like, is your robot on? Is your controller on? Okay, great.
Killer robots.
Awesome.
So yeah, so if anyone's interested, if they think they might, if they think maybe this is something they would want to help set up in their area, we would be more than happy to, give you any information you might need to try to start something like this on your own or collaborate with us.
Rochester may be the area to do this in. There's a pretty high density of teams in our area. So.
Yeah. It's the closest
even if there's not
districts in New York.
That's probably true. And even if you don't have even if you're not super dense in here, it's a great way to promote more growth in your area and get teams to the point where they don't have to take that initial jump from nothing to $10,000 in registration fees and all that stuff, right? I think our registration fee, don't quote me on that. I think it's like $300 or something,
awesome.
Or $350. So, and that's just from the school. So
LC910 wants to know how they can join OCCRA.
If you would like to join OCCRA.
In the Michigan area right now, since that's where it exists.
Well, right now to join OCCRA, you do have to be in at least for us, you have to be in Oakland County. If you want to start your own league, that's something you could probably contact us about. We could help you maybe try to work on setting something up. It probably might be a little late for this year. If you are in Oakland County, if you go to the Oakland County website, give me a second and I can look it up. I'll put it in the chat. There's a website, and Terry Kroll is our main coordinating contact for if you want to get a team going.
Rough, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll put the website in the chat, and that's got all the information you would need to contact. Or if you have Jim Zondag's contact information, I'm sure you could contact Jim, and he can get you in contact with the right people.
Everybody message Zondag right now.
Right.
Do it immediately. All right. Thanks, Nick, for letting us know about that, man. That's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Thank you to all of our co-executive producers, keeping fun loud, live, and independent. Pledge your support. Go to patreon.com/funfrc.